Welcome everybody to the Eden Army podcast. I am your host tonight, Pete Robertucci. This is season 2, episode 16, if I'm not mistaken, of the podcast. And we're coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, X, Kick, all that good stuff. Guys, do not forget to like and subscribe. Since the last time we were on, thanks Mama T, K-Love, Mama Gnome, and Real Comms for your resubscription. Thank you, Mr. Ken, for a couple of things, but for your follow over there on kick.com, I certainly appreciate that. I do have some news to report this week. First, congrats to the McNutt family with their newest member, Israel, who was born today at 4:59 p.m. So another one added to the tribe. That's awesome. I asked him, I go, Bill, in 9 months, what are you going to name the next one? You're running out of names. You basically got a football team going on right now. And he just, he gave me, well, it's not very Christian what he sent me back, so I'm not going to mention it, what he did. But also, really cool thing is I finished the third manual in the EA survival series. Remember, we did mutual assistance groups, water, and then food was next. So we did this one on food preservation. So once the links come up in chat, I'd love if you guys and gals, give it some consideration for your EMP-proof library. It's also available on Kindle, though, if you like it. But we'll have this QR code on throughout the night, and it'll also run through chat. So that's on Amazon. Don't forget. Also, guys, let's support Miss Terry with her prepping-related coloring books, right? As well as Russ with his second book in the Hanging Creek Chronicles. And again, keep an eye on chat because the links will be in the chat. Boy, a lot going on here at Eden Actual, I'll tell you that much. There's got the slab poured the other day. The battle for the got the slab poured. I got the slab poured. The next day, the guys come out to cut the relief holes in there, the expansion joints, right? And as he's out there, I see the guy out there taking a picture. So I'm like, oh, he's taking a picture of his handiwork. That's cool. No, 2 turtles walking on the friggin' slab. Yeah. So I kind of had to walk next to them, make sure they were getting where they had to go, because I'm not allowed to touch them. They're endangered, right? So you can't touch the turtles. You got to kind of just let them do their thing. So they eased off of the slab and they went and did their thing in the grass, whatever turtles do, real slow. But these turtles aren't slow, first of all. These are like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or some crazy shit. I don't know. But I digress. I'm done. It's almost done, guys. It's almost done. I'm going to be in Wisconsin before I know it. I got to have that faith, right, Rev? I got to have that faith. But tonight we're going to be talking about the UAE leaving OPEC. That's huge for the global market and for the United States. So we're going to tell you why. And just in time for the midterms, there's a new virus going around on the high seas. We'll talk about that. Virginia Democratic senator and her weed company gets raided by the FBI, and the FAFO moment happened in Texas. Look, if you're an illegal immigrant, do not try to carjack a brother with a gun when his 5 family members are inside the car. It's not going to end well, especially in Texas. South Carolina is redistricting thanks to the SCOTUS ruling. And again, we've got the video for the Texas man and his FAFO moment. But first, let's run this promo for Food for Thought, part 3 of the EA Survival series.
Food for Thought is the 3rd installment in the Eden Army Survival series, focusing on one of the most critical elements of long-term preparedness: food. This manual breaks down the reality of food preservation and storage without relying on theory or assumption. Beyond preservation, this manual addresses the factors that determine whether stored food is truly effective. Caloric requirements, nutritional balance, safe handling practices, and proper rotation are treated as essential components, not afterthoughts. The goal is to move beyond stockpiling and toward building a system that functions under pressure. Food for Thought is designed to provide clear, usable information that can be applied in real conditions. It emphasizes preparation, discipline, and understanding over convenience. This manual is not about excess, it is about readiness.
Guys, I should mention before we get started too much, I am not false advertising. That's an AI generated book. The book is actually that thick. I can't show you the cover because of my green screen, but it's actually that thick and it's not hardcover. And we are experiencing some internet difficulties tonight. Russ is over there at CanCon, so if he glitches out, he's not being abducted by aliens or anything like that. Russ, how is CanCon going, brother?
Well, it started off very, very soggy. We had about 1.5 inches of rain overnight, and it made things quite soggy. I practiced some vehicle retrieval skills this morning. Unfortunately, it was my vehicle that had to be retrieved.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but you know what? Shit happens. And we were prepared. We had the stuff in the vehicle. We had another vehicle. Got everything out safely. No issues with anything else. And got down and started setting up. And like I said, it had been a deluge overnight and rained till about 10:30 today. Then the skies opened up. It was beautiful, blue skies. Had a great day. Tomorrow, the gates open for the public at, I believe, 9. And you were here last year. You know how it is. They're expecting anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 people in there over the next 2 days. So yeah. It's going to be a good time. A lot of folks that we had over at Mountain Readiness are here. Of course, Big Bob Toombs is here. Black Armor Guns is here. Emery and Sue are here. Sue is jumping out of a helicopter tomorrow.
Wow.
With a parachute. A parachute. Got to make sure I say that. NC Scout and Brushbeater are here. Brian Duff's here. Gahagan Knives is here. Jax Janega, Brian Loftus from Survival Gear BSO. So it's like, we're just continuing the party over here. It's going to be a good time.
It's like you're on a book tour, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like it, man. And, having a booth by myself sucks, because, it doesn't feel right. So I guess I had to just get used to it, I reckon.
Yeah, you're going to have to get used to it. I also should give a shout out to Ken Pratt. I met him for lunch today. He came down from Missouri area. He's a firefighter. And he also bought me, this is worth more than gold right here, Russ. Look what Mr. Pratt bought me. Probably one of the last remaining bags of McNutter butter coffee. Yep. So I'm going to just write on that, break in case of an emergency. And
absolutely. Ken spent a lot of time with us down at the campfire every night, visiting the booths. Had a great time. He is such a great guy. Got to know him a little better, and I knew he was coming down to see you. He's like, he better be there when I get there. I was like, well, to the best of my knowledge, he's still going to be there.
Yeah, you're right, Will. That is the grail of coffee. I'm telling you, that's worth more than my silver.
I'm gonna put this out, and Bill will just have to get mad at me. He lives 80 miles away from me, pretty much straight shot. And he had, the last time when he and I had dinner together, I had dinner with the families together, he was headed to North Carolina to pick up his coffee accoutrement, the roaster and everything else like that. So there may be a possibility of getting some in the future, and if so, I will let the folks know, and work with him, to make sure that it's okay, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, he did say that it is available. It's not as rare as it seems, but that's look. I embellish things, Russ. I'm a writer. That's what I do.
That's what we do. But I will say this, Pete. You were missed at Mountain Readiness, and I've had several people come up to me today, talking about books, and they asked where you were, asked where Chris was. So you guys are missed at these events when you can't make it. So I wanted to put that out there.
I appreciate that. That's good stuff. And FIB, I think Ken got those, Patrick, from FIB, had them out on his table. You're right, Nick. Writers do make stuff up, but yeah, look, in this genre, it's really not making that much stuff up, is it? I mean, it's
No,
really
it's
just
hey,
stuff that's just kind of
what
coming true.
we talked about this several times. You know, they can call us conspiracy theorists all we want, but right now we're batting 1,000.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Tom, you're right. I'm on Turtle Patrol constantly, twice a day. I go out there. And Russ, this is why I always surround myself with smart people, present company excluded. Um,
of course.
Javi called me up today, and of course, you know, he's a contractor of
Hmm.
the type. He's not doing the other contract work anymore. Um, he says, Joe, man, here's what you got to do. And first of all, I'm like, okay, we're burying somebody or something. Okay, tell me, Javi, what do I got to do? He goes, you need to go outside and spray that slab down with water twice a day. And I go, why? He goes, it's going to cure too fast. It's going to crack. He goes, go out there and do it and tell me what happens. So I went out there and I sprayed it all down. First of all, it sucked up the water like that. And the damn concrete was like almost crackling. Like I was able to walk on it, but he's right. So you got to put water on these thick. This is things they don't tell you, right? You got to put
Yeah,
water on these big ass slabs. And by the way, Russ, instead of the 40 yards of concrete, it took 57 yards.
yeah. So plus, you know, no, it was supposed to be 58.
No, it was supposed to be 40 plus.
I
And then,
know.
well, yeah, it was supposed to be 58. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. That's another story I'll tell when I get a
Oh
little
man,
angrier.
yeah, that was so funny. Hi, Cheese Doodle. Hi there. I will say it on the podcast because it happened after the podcast last week. I did sitting there. I was talking to Patrick Seven, and I turned and looked at him and said, "You know what? You're gay." I said, "That's for Cheese Doodle." So
Exactly. Oh, Russ, a lot going on in the news
oh,
this
absolutely.
week. I had mentioned at the very beginning that the United
UAE.
Arab Emirates dropped out of OPEC and the significance behind that, right? But just them leaving OPEC is a massive, massive, massive blow to the oil cartel. OPEC's an oil cartel. Let's not make any mistake about it. But with one of OPEC's biggest producers, the UAE, breaking away from those production quotas that they put, because they would tell you how much you're supposed to put out every day, how many barrels a day. And without them adhering to those quotas, basically the UAE is going to be listening to Big Daddy Trump. So they're going to release as much as they can, especially once the strait gets completely open. So the cartel's grip on global oil prices has weakened and opening the door for more competition, lower energy costs, and a less centralized control over supply. I'm going to run that clip real quick, Russ.
OPEC suffered a heavy blow on Tuesday when the United Arab Emirates announced it had quit the oil exporting group. The stunning loss of the UAE, a long-standing OPEC and OPEC Plus member, could sow disarray and weaken the energy-producing bloc. UAE Energy Minister Suhail Mohammed Al-Mazrouei told Reuters the decision was taken after a careful look at the regional power's energy strategies. He said, quote, "This is a policy decision and has been done after a careful look at current and future policies related to level of production." Mazrouei added the move would not have a huge impact on the market because of the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. It comes at a time when the Iran war has caused an historic energy shock and unsettled the global economy. OPEC Gulf producers have already been struggling to ship exports through the Strait of Hormuz. But the narrow choke point between Iran and Oman that once carried 1/5 of the globe's crude oil and liquefied natural gas has been effectively closed since the U.S. and Israel attacked Tehran at the end of February. The UAE exit from OPEC represents a big win for U.S. President Donald Trump, who has accused the organization of, quote, ripping off the rest of the world by inflating oil prices.
Russ, what say you about all of that mess? Russ is he's abducted. But the United Arab Emirates over the years, they were one of the founding members within that organization. So them leaving, Russ, what do you got to say about all that mess?
Well, I mean, you know, I kind of researched that a little bit this afternoon. Being, you know, and I'm probably locked up, which is fine.
You're back.
rather than its immediate collapse. But they've adapted to this before. When several other countries have dropped out of it. But these big aggregates like the UAE, I think and I hope that OPEC goes away.
Absolutely, I hope they go away. And I'm gonna jump ahead here because since we're talking about oil and all that stuff, I'm gonna move over to this share screen real quick, Russ, and look at the oil futures. And that was today. Oil futures are actually down, up a little bit today. Overall, for the last 5 days, though, they're significantly down, which I don't quite understand. I understand the futures aspect of it, but what's really starting and what's going to bust the chops here in midterms if we're not careful is the average gas prices, right? Average gas prices right now in the United States is $4.55, and that's what I actually paid the other day, and $5.50 for diesel, which was a smack in the butt. But look over there in California, Russ. So it's not all about what Trump is doing. A lot of it's about state and local taxes also. My great state of Florida is right on average, but looks like the trip up to Wisconsin, if I ever get there, is gonna get a little bit. How the frig is Minnesota and Wisconsin cheaper than Florida? I don't quite understand that shit, Russ. Russ doesn't need
Is
it.
that in Wisconsin?
What's that?
I'm glad the price is $4.40 in Wisconsin. That's actually not too terrible, comparatively speaking. But looking at our routes of travel for this possible for summer, of course, Minnesota isn't terrible. It's one of the lowest. That's North Dakota. North Dakota, we had to drive through North Dakota, and it's one of the lowest in the nation. And then we go to Montana. Looking at those routes of travel, I'm okay with them being in the blues and light blues and whites. So that'll definitely help us. So it is what it is. I mean,
I may just stay in the woods and drink until I can't drink anymore. But Russ, the Dow Jones actually a little bit today went over 50,000, which it all baffles me, right? Oh, the economy's doing so bad, oil, this, that.
Lost.
But you're fine. But the Dow Jones is still way up there, and it took a little hit today, but it's still at 49. It's still at 49,000. That's ridiculous.
Well, and you notice if you go back to the oil prices, you said they showed me the 5-day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're on. Okay, the UAE left on the 1st of May, effective the 1st of May. So that shows you the influence that stuff like that has.
So they immediately, right? The speculators immediately freak out, and then they start to think, "Oh, let me think about this. Oh, so now OPEC's not going to be able to manipulate oil prices. Oh, Trump's in office. They're going to beat down the oil prices. UAE is going to have to listen to him because guess what? We stopped the missiles from coming in.
Very true.
And it automatically starts to go down again. So interesting times. I don't know what it all means. But what I will say, Russ, is that if Trump doesn't get these gas prices under control by midterms, we're going to have problems.
I think you might be right, and that kind of segues in problems. But I think that's not going to what we're going to discuss in a minute or two. It's not going to. Let's move to that. I don't think that's going to affect the midterms as much, but it'll definitely affect, the national election in 2.5 years.
It will. Well, it could. But we'll talk here a little bit about the redistricting that's going to actually potentially help the midterms. Will had a question here. He wants to explain the difference between light crude and like we have in the States and other types of crude like they have. From what I understand, now I'm no geologist or anything like that, but from what I understand, just from research and stuff like that, the light crude is refined easier. There's less steps involved in refining it. Actually, it's cheaper. It'll bring gas prices down cheaper because it doesn't have to go through the extra steps of refining. Where the dirty crude oil, like they have in Iran and Iraq and stuff like that, takes more refining, from what I understand. Well, I may be off base on that. But
and it's my understanding is we don't have the facilities to refine our own oil, is what my understanding of it is.
We don't have all the facilities needed. Like when I was researching the Birchwood books and stuff like that, and trying to figure out how big civil unrest would affect somebody that still had electricity and stuff like that. One of the things that kept popping out is even if we got Canadian oil, Wisconsin really didn't have the refineries needed to process it all.
Exactly.
So let's do this. Let's start building friggin' refineries where we don't have to send it all the way down to Texas and Louisiana to get it
or
refined,
wherever,
right?
or even out of the country. But the biggest bone of contention for me, considering everything I own is diesel, is diesel's a byproduct of the refinement process for unleaded gas. Why on God's green earth is it more expensive than unleaded?
Yeah, it doesn't make it. You know why?
It doesn't pass the smell test.
No, because it's a commodity that what does every friggin' cargo carrying truck need? It's an extra tax is all it is.
Yep,
Patrick says there's less sulfur inside of the light stuff.
Every cargo carrying truck, every military vehicle dang near, uses diesel. That was what we were told with the original spike back when Obama came into office, and it spiked. It was because we have so many troops overseas and they run diesel. Well, I call bullshit on that, especially considering it's a byproduct.
Yeah, and this is a great sandwich. This is another great point here. We're set up for the crude out of Venezuela, which is cleaner than the crude over there in the Middle East. But now let's think of the trifecta we've got going on right now. Venezuelan oil. We will have Iranian oil. All right, so China and Russia are kind of screwed. Russia doesn't have as much oil as they think they have, or they want to lead the world to believe that they have. So
China has none.
China has none, so they get their stuff from where? They get it from Iran and Venezuela. Cuba's bankrupt right now because we've cut off their oil supply from Venezuela. We could potentially own the world's oil supply. And everyone says Orange Man doesn't know what he's doing. I think he knows what he's doing. Will it come to fruition? I don't know in his time, but he's playing. I say it time and time again. He's playing chess, and we're stuck here playing checkers.
Absolutely.
Right. So I don't know all of the answer, but we might as well stay domestically with the news, Russ, and talk about what's going on here with this Virginia FBI raid.
Oh man!
And I don't know if you guys have been following this, but apparently the FBI executed a search warrant on Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, and she's one of the most powerful Democrats in the state, along with her cannabis business that she co-owns, right? The FBI raided that too. The raids are tied to a long-running public corruption investigation involving potential bribery connected with marijuana dispensaries on top of that. And how did she vote on legalizing marijuana? Go back and look at that and see if she didn't have a vested interest on where all that went, right?
That she did.
Well, and at this point, no charges have been filed. Lucas says she doesn't know what the investigation is all about, but coordinated federal raids like this don't just happen overnight, Russ. This is especially to a high-level official. They're not just a routine thing. Kash Patel's not going to just embarrass himself and do this. This is probably either months or even years of investigation. So it's all unclear on where it's actually going to go. But the fact that it got to this point, a sitting senator, we need to watch closely and see what happens with all of that kind of stuff. It's not weaponizing DOJ if you get caught doing something wrong, Russ.
Absolutely.
It's not a run to clip.
News now, a very influential Democrat from Virginia, State Senator Louise Lucas, is at the center of a major FBI corruption investigation. Right now, in fact, agents are executing search warrants across the Commonwealth, including her office. Alex Hogan is in Portsmouth, Virginia. Alex.
Hi, Hi, Harris. So the FBI here telling us today that these are court-authorized criminal search warrants that they are issuing, and they're going into the building behind me. This is the office here in Portsmouth of State Senator Louise Lucas. You can likely see some of the FBI agents behind me. All of the staffers inside this building were told to come outside. I could hear them saying that they were not allowed back in the building. Throughout the last hour, we've been seeing the FBI come and go carrying boxes out of the building. Now, just across the parking lot next to where I am, there is a cannabis dispensary. We know that the state senator is associated with several cannabis locations and dispensaries. And what we're seeing there, a completely different scene carrying out. SWAT teams arrived with their weapons drawn, telling anyone in the building to come out of the building with their hands up. We also saw at least 3 people being taken away, taken into custody. First, they were put in handcuffs, put on the ground, and then they were taken away. So it's a slightly less large presence than we did see earlier, but there still is a good amount of FBI agents still here on the ground. Also, what happened within the last hour, the Senator Louise Lucas arrived here herself. I was able to speak with her. I asked her what her reaction was to all of this. She told me she had no idea what they were doing here. I asked her about the different locations that they might be. She, in response, asked me what locations the FBI were at today. We know, according to officials, at least 10 locations are being looked at today. Harris.
Alex, great job getting her right as this was going on. Thank you. We'll come back to you if the news warrants on this.
Will said something about Ilhan Omar. Last I heard, Will, she's not cooperating, and today was the deadline for her to hand over a bunch of documents, which she refused to hand over. So unless that's changed from about an hour ago, her ass is in deep water too. So who knows? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Russ.
Well, and going back to this senator, this Virginia Democrat, since 2021. And it's not just the fact that they just busted this thing, which I think they did. And I have some sources that told me that it might be connected with the fact that they're getting weed from Jamaica and maybe going to Colombia and then coming up to the U.S., which is not the way it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be grown in the U.S. But she's had over 217 violations of state safety regulations, 102 serious incidences, and at least 9 deaths in her group homes for adults with intellectual disabilities. These violations were repeated violations. Yeah. Many violations were correct.
Yeah, but long and short, Russ, you're frozen up again.
Influential role overseeing these.
Yeah, but long and short, how was she voting for the legalizing of marijuana in Virginia?
Oh, she was proponent. She was voting yes. Please give it to me. Give it to me.
So you talk about insider trading. You can't get any more insider trading.
You can't. You can't. You really can't.
Well, I answered this last one, but what about, Will says, what about Comey, Fauci, Obama? No more political powers. There was a little thing that Biden did during the swearing in of Donald Trump, where he blanket pardoned all of these guys, with the exception of Comey, who was in trouble after. That's what he's in trouble for, that whole 86 thing, the seashell thing that he found. That's what he's in trouble for right now. But Fauci got a blanket pardon, don't forget. Obama got a blanket pardon, and Comey got a blanket pardon for what he did prior to the 86-47.
Yeah. And Diana brought up a good point. The reason they can't get a warrant for Ilhan, because they tried, but the Democrats in her state voted against it. 100% voted against giving her issuing the warrants, because that's the way it works in her state.
How does that? How can you? So you just can say no? I'm not going to issue a federal warrant. I mean, how the hell does that work?
Man, it's a liberal freaking state. I have no freaking clue.
I know. Look at this guy.
Oh, look at this sexy beast.
Look, is that? Look, last week it was Bullshite's baby. Now it's Russ's baby.
You know who's missing here? You know who's missing here?
Who's missing?
Pete, because he ain't here. He ain't here at all. He's too busy messing with turtles. There you have it. That's all I got. That's all I got to say.
Oh, talk about a photo bomb. Talk about a photo bomb. That one caught me by surprise.
Big T putting his 2 cents in.
Absolutely.
At least he didn't have an echo. At least he didn't have an echo this week.
No echo. No echo this week. That's awesome. But
Go ahead. Do you have anything more to add to that?
man, no. I mean, the Democrats are screwing up by the numbers, and I agree. They need to be held accountable. It's actually, they need to be held accountable, and the rhinos need to be held accountable. I mean,
Well,
enough is enough.
The GOP has every opportunity right now to push this agenda through, and they're not doing it because they're weak. Push it through. If you have to get rid of the filibuster to do it, then get rid of the damn filibuster. I don't care. But this is an FAFO moment, not just for Virginia, but because of the SCOTUS ruling and because of the gerrymandering that they've done in the past, South Carolina is coming up with this little tidbit of action. They're actually, what they've done, I think I have a write-up on this one too, Russ. Very short. Yeah. South Carolina Republicans are now pushing to redraw congressional districts in a way that could result in a 7-0 Republican delegation inside of South Carolina, the district. So the Democrats would have nothing, right? This comes after the recent Supreme Court ruling from Louisiana that gave states more flexibility to get away from this race-based redistricting. And that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. But the bigger takeaway is Republicans now are starting to use the friggin' tools available to them more aggressively, just like what the Democrats have been doing all along, but now they're whining about. Imagine that. Here's the clip for us.
Person. I have not talked to President Trump at all.
Have you spoken to anyone in the White House or any White House staffers?
Well, we've obviously been in contact with the White House because, I mean, the maps that we've seen and that they've seen that have come here, I mean, they had some connection to the White House.
This isn't about any one person. This is simply about the process of making sure the maps are constitutional and they are ones that are fair and honest and that we can use. It doesn't matter who's in the seats. These seats are not ours and they're not the congressman's. They are the people's seats, and so it shouldn't play a role of who's in the chair.
I mean, obviously, if we get to the point where we're going to redraw the maps and we feel like we'll have to do something to the June 9th primary.
Who knows what the possibilities are at this point? There are obviously there are maps on the internet from the National Republican Redistricting Trust that are out there that are being advocated to be a map for South Carolina, and I think we'll start that process Friday morning and take testimony and see where that takes us.
So Russ, I don't know too much about South Carolina. Now I know they had that one couple of counties maybe that they gerrymandered in the middle of nothing. But
just
tell me a little bit about that's your homeland.
And that's my district. That is my district. And I wish I'd have pulled the map for what it currently looks like, because right now it's 6-1,
right?
And then the proposed one, and while they're saying it might end up being 7, it probably will be. But the gerrymandering of that district was just absolutely insane. It made the one in Louisiana and the ones in Illinois look like child's play compared to it. I mean, it was almost street by street.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. And I mean, the last statement that the young senator made, it's the people's vote. It's not, the congressman is the state. Not District 6. I don't think that's 6. Let's see.
Including the 6th district.
Okay.
So you can look right here. I think this is current. Why would you isolate these Republicans down here?
Yeah, and see that
why?
Yeah, down at the bottom, you're getting closer to Savannah. That's Edisto, Charleston area. Charleston area is up in the next little red spot, and then you got Myrtle Beach, Horry County, but if you could zoom in on that, it is just insane. So I recommend, if you guys are interested, go look up the current South Carolina Congressional District mapping. It's absolutely insane. That picture doesn't do it justice when you get it a little tighter.
But this is all new because the Republicans are doing it, and Republicans are bad.
Yeah, I mean, they're likening it to bringing back Jim Crow. That's not what we're doing. We are, of course, like SCOTUS said, they have, for the last 20 years, they have been, all of their rulings have been pretty much straight on, no color, no color, no color for the most part. And that's what needs to be happening. We're past that. We should be past that as Americans. It makes me sick.
Well, they don't want equality. Oh, here, anytime a liberal says they want equality, what they mean is they want shared equity. So anytime they say equality, just insert shared equity, and that'll tell you the liberal agenda.
Exactly right.
From here on out.
Exactly right. Like I said, it makes me sick. And what do you think? What do you think of this new sickness that's going around?
Well, it's just in time. It's just in time for
it's amazing how that works.
And but the good news is, Russ, the CDC and the WHO are on top of it, so we don't have anything to work because they would never lie to us, right? But I'll give the run up for that. So apparently, health officials are monitoring a growing hantavirus outbreak tied to a cruise ship, the Hadanis, after multiple infections and 3 deaths. Now, there was only 120 people on that boat, and 3 of them died. This rare Andes strain, which can be spread from person to person, not just from rats to people now. This can go person to person, not like that was bioengineered or anything. I'm sure it's fine. Has triggered a global contact tracing efforts. Why? Because they let 23 people leave the boat and go home. Meanwhile, there's an 8-week gestation period with the virus. But just go ahead. I'm sure you're going to find. Though the WHO says the overall public risk remains low. Where have you heard that before, Russ? Where have you heard that? But let's run we'll run the video here if I can find it. Flopping screens.
This morning, global health officials and those in the U.S. are racing to contain a deadly hantavirus outbreak as new cases emerge linked to that cruise ship in the Atlantic. KLM Airlines now saying one of the ship's passengers, who later died from the virus, boarded a flight in Johannesburg before crew members decided she was too sick to travel. Dutch health officials are now contacting the passengers who were on that plane. Meanwhile, Switzerland has confirmed a new case of the virus in a man who'd previously been on the ship, the first confirmed case in Europe. Here in the U.S., we learned overnight that people in at least 2 states, Arizona and Georgia, are being monitored. So far, no symptoms have been reported. The ship was initially carrying nearly 150 passengers and crew, including 17 Americans. But some passengers were allowed to leave the ship before the full extent of the outbreak was known. One passenger still on board was quoted by a Spanish newspaper saying 23 people disembarked at an earlier stop, adding there are 23 people wandering around there, and until 3 days ago, no one had contacted them. The World Health Organization says contact tracing is now underway.
It's an incubation time of about 1 to 8 weeks where the symptoms are developing. It's like flu-like symptoms. You have pain, muscle pain, fever, feeling weak, etc.
The CDC says it will be monitoring the health status and preparing medical support for all of the American passengers on the cruise, adding the risk to the American public is very low. The rare virus is typically spread through exposure to rodents, but this particular strain can spread between humans through close, prolonged contact. 3 people who were on the ship have died.
The ship is expected to dock in Spain's Canary Islands this weekend, where passengers will undergo health assessments before being sent home unless their condition prevents travel.
So there you go. Everything's under control. Look, but honestly, guys, not something to freak out about, but just something to be aware of, right? Just be prepared, not paranoid. Nick had a good thing. He says he can't remember the ratio. Let me pop this up real quick. We'll talk about this. Patient X on a virus like that, but it's huge with an 8-week gestation. I think 1/3 of the population now 1/3 affected. But now let's talk about something more important is the fatality rate. There was 120 people on that boat. 3 of them died. I don't know the math there, but I'm thinking 2% maybe. That's 2% fatality rate.
Yeah.
That's pretty friggin' huge. Just think of 2% of the population getting this and actually succumbing to it. Whereas COVID had a 0.0047
like less than
fatality rate.
1%, less than 1%.
And not only that, they were putting the common flu, the normal flu deaths, they were just attributing that to coronavirus during the whole time. So it was probably even less than that.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
Miss Terry says, go ahead, Russ.
No, go ahead.
Miss Terry says she never heard of it until Gene Hackman, and I forgot about that, Miss Terry. But they actually got it, I suppose, from rats because they were living in filth.
Yeah, we knew about hantavirus, transmitted via rats. We've known about that. When I was in the military station in New Mexico, hantavirus is pretty prevalent out there, and we wore scarves or something across our face when we were working in our dusty warehouses and stuff like that. But you and I kind of talked about this in the green room beforehand. As far as conspiracy theories go, those of us that do these podcasts and stuff like that, we're batting about 1,000. So, some information that I found out on this whole hantavirus thing back in 24, Trump says that he will withdraw the U.S. from the World Health Organization because they contributed 20% of the budget. 2024, some vials of hantavirus go missing from an Australian lab. 2025, a new lab opens in Argentina that studies the hantavirus.
Which is where this boat went, by the way.
2026, a rare strain of hantavirus that has human-to-human transmission breaks out on a cruise ship, just like you just said. And the only one that I couldn't really verify is the last one, is WHO has come out and said that the USA should have thought more carefully about leaving the WHO. Now,
so what is this punishment then? Is this punishment for doing? Are they justifying, like the SPLC? Are they justifying their jobs because
you
all of a sudden now
give
there's
us
the next
money?
virus?
You didn't give us money, so now we have this leak. Planned? Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, there's a lot of chat here. Miss Joey's in the house. Good to see you, Joey. You figured out how to get on Kick. Congratulations. Diana's been getting on Kick without problems here.
She's got it figured out.
And no run on toilet paper. You guys don't have enough toilet paper at your house by now after all of this, and you just need to get bidets or something. Well, and Patrick doesn't even wipe, according to him.
Yeah.
What the hell? You guys are out of control.
Yeah, I'm looking through as well, looking for the preps of the week, make sure we hadn't missed any. I did miss one. But I got to hang out with Spec Ops, also known as Not Russ, this weekend. We had a blast with that. Got to meet his lovely bride. So I walked up and he said, "Yeah, this is my friend Russ, the Not Russ." I said, "Yeah, I'm the real Russ." It was pretty fun. I'm going to work on getting him a shirt. It's going to have the broken spokes on the front. I'm going to put Not Russ on the back of it.
That's funny. Yeah, we stocked up on butter. Cheese Doodle was very worried about running out of butter for some reason. So we stocked up on as much butter as we could. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, that's it. That's it for chat. Let me see. I'm going to go through pinned ones real quick and see which ones are not. Miss Julie, we missed you also, sweetie. Not your husband so much, but we definitely missed you. Fireman Ed sent me a cool ass camp cooking set, but it's old school, like one you'd find on a chuck wagon, like in a big box.
Oh, nice.
It's badass. And thanks Guy and Chrissy for toting that back. I was deciding I was gonna do a raffle or something with that also, with the La cooler, but I opened it up and I'm like, nah, I'm keeping that son of a bitch. That's badass.
We'll take that to Wisconsin and cook on it.
that thing is jam up. Let's see. Patrick Seven says, ain't gonna lie, it felt really weird sitting around the campfire without me. I know. Funny, Patrick, because I used to be so introverted that I was even at the readiness and stuff like that. I was like Guy. I stayed in the background. I wouldn't talk to anybody and stuff like that. Melissa says, "Oh, you got to get more social." Okay, well, look. Now P7 misses me, Melissa.
Yeah,
congratulations.
And Melissa's like, "I'm going to bed because you're being too social."
Yeah, exactly.
But we went through 4 bottles of bourbon. If you'd have been there, we'd have gone through all 6. So, but we've had a great time. I spent a little time with not only not Russ, but also not. Oh, so we're sitting up at the table, and Bob had put signs out because I'm doing the raffle tickets, and the guy and Kelly's sitting beside me, and somebody comes and goes, looks at Kelly, goes, "You're not Russ," and I said, and he goes, "No, I'm not Russ. This is Russ." Well, absolutely. Oh man, and we're having a blast with it. Absolutely. And yes, Patrick, at least 7 to 8 jars of some very high quality clear and other flavors.
Well, I'm sad I missed it, but my liver is not.
But hey, you're going to have some catching up to do when you get to Wisconsin, brother, because I'm ahead of you this year.
Yeah, I'm already getting phone calls about that. Russ, if you're going to F with Texas, you better make sure the guy you're effing with doesn't have a GAT, right? Because,
amen.
An illegal immigrant in Texas decided he was going to carjack a man and his family after he ran into a building, ran from that, tried to carjack a couple other people, and finally landed in this gentleman's car. So I got the video to show you. Just warms.
Tonight, new video shows the moment a father opens fire in an act police are calling self-defense. Get the kids out of the way! Watch as this man approaches a parked car and forces his way into the vehicle on Sunday. The driver tries to pull him away as a child runs.
Let's talk about something here real quick before we get too far into this video. So this reminds me of some of the Troy's Gate scenarios, right? Where you would have the gun out and you'd see somebody obviously being an aggressor and decide now you're going to wrestle with the guy instead of actually doing what you brought the gun out to do. We saw this a lot in Troy's Gate. I did it myself, and I have since did a little bit of rethinking on this, but this is what happens here. Luckily for him, this guy doesn't have a knife or something else in his hand. He just has a little illegal fist in the air.
The driver tries to pull him away as a child runs out, fighting as the family scrambles for safety. Police say the driver, 2 women, and several children, even a baby, were in the car.
I was able to help get them inside so they weren't in line of fire.
Police tell us the suspect, 30-year-old Jose Ramirez, crashed into 2 cars at this gas station and then tried to force his way into at least 4 others. He then crossed the street into this parking lot where he targeted that car with the family inside. Tatiana Starks watched from her store just feet away, jumping into action to help the kids.
Hats off goes to Dad because Dad was able to stand his ground and protect his family.
The father fires 10 shots, killing the attacker.
We are looking at this as a self-defense case.
And Tom, police tell us they are not filing charges against the father at this time as the investigation continues. The people here who saw it all happen tell me they're just happy those kids are safe tonight. Tom.
So one thing I am happy about, well, 2 things I'm happy about. He took care of the threat, took care of his family, but he didn't just fire 1 or 2 shots. 10 shots.
Well, he must know, and he must have only had a California compliant magazine. But you know, if you go back to watch The Landman, you know, remember when Rebecca and Tommy first meet? She goes, "I'll have you know, I'm licensed to carry concealed in the state of Texas," and he goes, "Honey, everybody can carry in Texas. That's why we wave." You know, God bless Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Russ, instead of doing prep of the week intro, what I'm going to do, I think, is run that video for the book again, the manual, just because some people came on kind of late. So I'm going to run that right on the flip side of this intro or this promo for this manual, guys. We are going to do the prep of the week, so get them in.
Food for Thought is the 3rd installment in the Eden Army Survival Series, focusing on one of the most critical elements of long-term preparedness, food. This manual breaks down the reality of food preservation and storage without relying on theory or assumption. Beyond preservation, this manual addresses the factors that determine whether stored food is truly effective. Caloric requirements, nutritional balance, safe handling practices, and proper rotation are treated as essential components, not afterthoughts. The goal is to move beyond stockpiling and toward building a system that functions under pressure. Food for Thought is designed to provide clear, usable information that can be applied in real conditions. It emphasizes preparation, discipline, and understanding over convenience. This manual is not about excess, it is about readiness.
No, Patrick, not a hard copy. That was just the AI generated the video. So guys, scan that QR code if you're interested. It's cheap. It goes along with the other two manuals. The next manual that we're coming out with, we're going to do shelter, but it's not going to be like bushwhacking shelter and stuff like that. It's how to fortify your shelter, your house, or your homestead, and some of the things you can get out of other houses that might benefit you should shit hit the fan. So that's the avenue I'm taking for that. But no, definitely not hard copy. It's 60 pages. AI made that thing look way bigger than it is, which I like in most circumstances, just not in false advertising, right? But the actual manual, and it's going to be hard to see because of my green screen, is actually 60 pages, and it's just like the other manual. So pick that up, guys, while you're waiting for my next two books that I'm working diligently on. Pete and Russ, can you add the book link? I will definitely do that, Miss Dorn. Thank you for allowing me to do that. You know how I am about self-promotion. I'm very bad at it. That's why I just do it once a week on this silly podcast. But yeah, get your prep of the weeks in, guys, and we're going to go through those here directly because it's starting to get to that hour limit.
Absolutely.
I got Revs here.
All right.
Rev says he got a little bit fatter this week. I got something for you, Rev. I got something that'll fix that up. Have you dropped 20 pounds before your wife knows it?
Yeah, and I probably did as well. But we'll move on with that because I'll tell you, the ladies took care of us this past week at Mountain Readiness. We ate well. So let's see here.
Hold on, before you do this, Patrick, someone commented on this scar, this something I have on the top of my head here. My wife beats me. That's what I keep trying to tell you guys over and over again. And I got my hair cut, and even the hairdresser's like, "What's that big scar you got up there?" Oh, Melissa beats me. Go ahead, Russ. Carry on. Go ahead, Russ.
I'm looking in. Let's see.
Patrick 7. That didn't come through. Got a bunch of lock picking stuff and have been practicing. Lock pick gun. Make it.
Yeah. I actually have one. I'll show it to you, Pete. You stick it in and you just go like this, and it'll pop open the lock pretty quick.
How do you do it? How do you do it? You do
it's just like this. Mafankulos to cuts.
All right, Miss Dorn. Camper's unloaded. Got the last figs cut up and going in the freeze dryer tomorrow. I want to know how those come out.
I do too.
Go ahead,
Fireman Ed says he did a lot. I'll let you do the clicking.
Okay.
Fireman Ed says he took a lock picking class and some off-road classes. Tactical Rifleman did a lot of different off-road classes about vehicle, repairs in austere environments and stuff like that. So great class there.
Man Crush Kelly says Meta and I added 2 new fire blankets. Thank you, Julie, for the Sam's Club nudge. I don't know what kind of buffoonery is going on there. We also bought a new 12-volt 100 PSI trump to lift the water from a spring. Oh, outstanding. Send me a link for that pump because I've got a little project that I want to work on. I want it to be 12 volts, and I've got an idea. And actually, Kelly, I'd like to talk to you about it since you're moving water. I want to tell you my idea and tell me what you think about it. Cool.
Yeah. Diana says she's been fixing up her travel trailer up to sell. So,
well, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do then? You're going to get rid of the travel trailer totally, or what are you going to do? Enlighten us. Nick says he did a next of kin. Well, that's actually a pretty good idea.
It is, and I actually looked through that thing.
that started filling his out with his order. Me and Melissa were just talking about that. She's going through some issues with a family member, and none of his stuff was set up. So she goes, why doesn't somebody write a book or a manual to give us the step by step on what we're supposed to do? So great idea, Mr. Nick, and it's actually something that's needed.
Yeah, I looked through that this weekend. It's top quality Nick product, very in depth, very intuitive, very easy to fill out. So Nick, props to you on that one, man. And I meant to pick one up while I was there, and I forgot.
Yeah, perfect. What's Julie got to say here?
Miss Julie says she's ordered 2 galvanized steel raised beds to start replacing their 12-year-old wood beds. And there was a whole conversation in chat about that. I saw something about painting and different things, so I'll have to go back in the chat and find out later.
It's probably the old argument where you shouldn't use galvanizing and your raised beds and all that good stuff. If that's what kills me, though, I'll be all right with that. I want to talk about this real quick. Sandwich, before I do that, let me talk. He increased his fuel storage. I don't know if now's the time to increase your fuel storage. Well, I guess now's the time to really be rotating through your older stuff potentially and replacing it. So that might not be a bad idea. I want to talk about something Patrick was talking about with the weed coming from China. Goes back to the Virginia Democrat, but what I was seeing, Patrick, a while ago was a lot of respiratory illnesses from this medical marijuana. Respiratory illnesses that we never had when I was in high school or just got out of high school from that friggin' dirt weed we used to get, right? So why all of a sudden now we're getting respiratory illnesses from FDA-approved medicinal marijuana? Yeah, you know why, because China's trying to kill us, and our government's letting them, Patrick. That's what I got to say about that. Mr. Kelly?
He said his prep is he pulled his camper from Mountain Radius to home with their very new truck. What a joy. As you guys know, Med and Kelly had a new truck, or new to them truck, and they got in an accident that was not their fault. And they found their old truck's newer baby brother. So you're a year younger, 2021 GMC Sierra AT4 1500, same color and all. So they got it. They took it home, got the bigger engine in it, and they're ready to come to Wisconsin and ultimately over to Montana. So we're looking forward to that.
Will sent me a picture of his prep of the week. It was a hatchet. Now, he had a whole dissertation about it, how this was a cheaper version of the one that's exactly the same. But, Will, why don't you do this and get on the Eden Army Survival and Outdoors page? We'll give you post that up and post where you got it. So, some type of hatchet he got. But even the cheap version, Russ, was out of my pay grade.
Wow.
So,
well, I tell you.
Go ahead.
Talking about hatchets. The hatchet that Bob Toombs and Franklin Horton helped design and Kyle Gahagan helped produce for the Mad Mick hatchet. This thing was a beast. It was an absolute beast. It's a chunk of metal. And it was pretty awesome. And then Kyle was walking around today with one he's making. He went to a museum and traced out this old Viking axe, and that's what he's reproducing. And this thing is a beast. I mean, two-handed, it'd be beautiful.
Outstanding. Mr. Bryce says he making sure he had toe straps for his truck. Probably took that mountain or that tactical rifleman class and realized all the parts and pieces that he needed. Let's get back to what Patrick, I did see that. Not sure if you saw my comment earlier, but someone made an anonymous tip to ICE, and about 14 Venezuelan and Honduran contractors at a shop that were taking people's jobs got deported over the weekend. That, sir, is what I voted for right there, because hopefully a legal immigrant or a U.S. citizen, either naturalized or an actual U.S. citizen, will be able to get those jobs, which is why the unemployment rates are down so low right now. Don't let anybody fool you. Let's see here. What is Miss Susan? Miss Susan's in the house on Facebook. Started food caches for fallback locations. Outstanding. Make sure you store them correctly. I'll try to put that video on the Eden Army Survival and Outdoors page of caches. the do's and don'ts with caches.
And user BD9 blah 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 blah, because I'm too lazy to read all the letters. This is Adam and Janet from North Dakota. Their prep of the week. They bought more fishing gear and are planting the garden on Saturday.
Yo, and I don't know if North Dakota is anything like Wisconsin, but once you put shit in the ground and it becomes summertime, spring and summer, that shit, I don't care what it is, it grows like a weed. They have such a short growing season in Wisconsin.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it pops up. Let's see what Guy says. You got 2 fire extinguishers from Patrick.
Yeah.
All right. That helps.
And I'm scrolling through the chat and there's another one from Patrick. I'll pop it up here.
Yeah, send it.
He won the book raffle at Mountain Readiness. Got everybody's books. So Bob took an idea from the Midwest Prepper Project, Preparation Project, Midwest Preppers, and what they do is every year they do what's called a survival library. And authors from whether it be apocalyptic fiction like we are, or actual guides, the authors donate books and they put it in this library. And every year they give this library to a winner. And Bob said, let's do that. So we did it. And I bet you there was 25 books in there, and it was a lot of survival mags. So, Chris and myself and Franklin and Brian Duff and Nick all put books in addition to the other folks around there that had books. Kevin Estella was there. He put some books in. It was pretty good.
Patrick says, awesome. Patrick says he was able to give out all the extra med kits he had, fire extinguishers he had stored. And of course, we always pray that we never have to use those things. But
Amen.
If you do have them, learn how to use them. What is Diana said she just turned 70 last month. Did we miss that birthday?
I think we did, and I apologize for missing it.
Speaking of turning 70, Russ. And birthdays coming up. My beautiful bride, who's turning 75 tomorrow.
You're going to get your ass whipped. Oh, my God. You're going to. Okay, folks, let's have a word of prayer for Pete as he hopefully survives today and tomorrow.
Yep. So the way she wants to celebrate her birthday is she wants to get number 1, number 2, and number 3 together. And there's an inside joke to that. That's grandma, that's her, that's baby girl all together at a place called Martini's. And, we'll see how all that works out. But happy birthday to my beautiful bride. 70. I've never seen 75 look so good on somebody, sweetheart. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Melissa.
And Brianna says this.
Very true. Very, very true. Very, very true.
That's awesome.
I mean, we try to have a little comic relief on this thing because we do talk about some serious things. And unfortunately, sometimes our lovely brides are the butt of our jokes. But we do love them.
We do. What would we do without them? I could think of a lot of things. I'll definitely get banned off of TikTok if I start spouting those.
Yeah.
Caleb says I'm going to get a black eye.
I was going to say, and Caleb, we missed you as well at Mountain Readiness. We know why you weren't here, and here at CanCon, but we understand. Yeah, PD was a good guy.
Russ, lead us out of this. Don't miss my well, anyway, go ahead, Russ, lead us out.
Guys, for those of you that were at Mountain Readiness, we had just such a great time, as always. Thanks to Big Bob, even though he photobombed me today. We had a great time. He put on an awesome event. Over here at CanCon, if you're nearby, stop in. Get the training. Buy the books, get the training, and just deal with the community. Be with your community and just get better if we can, because we are our own first responders, and as a group, we are stronger. That's all I got, Pete.
Sounds good, Mr. Russ. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys in chat. You guys blew it up tonight, which is what I really love. That's awesome. That makes all this worthwhile. Guys, do me a favor. If you have the opportunity, a few extra bucks, try to get that manual off of Amazon. I won't have them hard copies, at any shows because I'm going up to Wisconsin, but I will have them up in Birchwood more than likely. But I would appreciate that. I may need bail money after Melissa gets a hold of me, or I may need at least hospital bills or insurance bills after she gets a hold of me for those comments. So by all means, spend the $11 and grab that manual. And hell, be safe, guys. Can't be safe. Well, be dangerous. Thanks for watching the Eden Army podcast. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, be safe. Can't be safe. Be dangerous.